Good afternoon for me, but morning for you, Vee Kativhu. How you doing? You well?
I'm good, thank you. I'm having a great start to my morning. All is bright and lovely in Los Angeles.
Fantastic. You're lucky to be there, man. But we're not lucky, actually. And we're going to get into that. You're there very much as a result of your hard work and endeavor. I first was made aware of you at the YouTube Black Edition event, which was my first time attending. Thanks to YouTube for that. But you were on the stage, and it was your accomplished manner that really grabbed me. You were just really comfortable up there on the stage and delivering, and there was an audience of young YouTubers who were really kind of hanging on your every word, and it was just like, wow, where have I been? Who is this young lady? You gave a snapshot of how you came to be on that stage at the YouTube event. Help some of our readers, listeners, kind of find out that story as well, please.
Yeah, so my name is Vee Kativhu. I'm right now 26 years old, which is crazy because time is flying and I don't know where the years are going. But I began YouTube when I was, I think, 20 or 19. And I began YouTube because I'd gone to an institution that was very much lacking in diversity, and that bothered me a lot because I think they spoke in the media about wanting to be more diverse. And the more I looked around the University of Oxford, I realized that people like me just were not in places like that. And I didn't understand why, because I'd met some incredibly bright young Black people in my time who were far smarter than I was and would have ran circles around people in that institution, but they weren't there. And I didn't understand that disconnect of people having the ability and having the knowledge and the passion, but not being able to get a space in places like that. So I began kind of investigating myself, like, why do we have a lack of people that look like me or sound like me in places like this? Because you're telling me that having a seat at this table means that we get to go on and change the world. So I was in this place where they were telling me that leaders came here, future leaders were here, people who make decisions about our country come here, and those decisions are made at tables like this. But when I was looking around the table, no one looked like me, no one sounded like me, and that bothered me because it was sending a message that intelligence had a race, that intelligence had a skin tone, it had a household income, it had an accent. I didn't like the message that was being sent. And I'm not that type of person that wants to sit there and just be mad about something. I want to do something about it. So I took my phone, it was an iPhone at the time. I put it on the windowsill and I began my YouTube channel. Like, it began out of anger, it began out of frustration, it began out of a lack of feeling seen, heard, or valued in spaces that I thought, why can't I be here? I think I didn't understand the why. And as I've gotten older now, I'm realizing, okay, there's like a system and a society that we live in, and sadly, things are created in a way that's exclusionary. But at the time, as a young person, it didn't make sense to me. I've got the grades, I've got the passion, I deserve a seat at this table. So I took my phone, put it on the windowsill, and I just began sharing my journey, being unapologetically a Black girl in an institution that historically rejected me, and I was thriving. I wasn't just Black, I was thriving, and I had my headscarf on, eating food from my home country, just being myself. And young people began subscribing. We had 50 people subscribe, then 100, 1,000, 10,000. It just grew. And I was like, Mom, there were like over 200,000 people watching me on the internet talk about my academic journey. Like, this is crazy. And it just took a life of its own. So since then, I've been a proud YouTuber for the past 6 years. I've vlogged my undergraduate degree at Oxford on YouTube for 4 years. I vlogged my master's degree at Harvard University during the pandemic. And now I'm vlogging my PhD journey, which is happening right now, hence where we are today on campus. And it's been a beautiful journey. It's all been centered around education, empowering young people, breaking barriers. I read my personal statement online for millions to see. I talk about being at McDonald's. I talk about growing up in a single parent household with no money. Like I share everything just to let everyone know, like, you can do this if you want to, and I'm going to be there to help you. So that's been the journey, and I love YouTube, and it's changed my life. It really has. My life has not looked the same since I picked up that camera. So that brings us to today as a second year PhD student.
I don't think you mentioned what you were studying initially.
Yeah. So my first degree was in classical archaeology and ancient history. My second degree was in international education policy. And my degree right now is in education leadership and urban school settings. So yeah.
That brings us up to your role. For me, what brings there's loads in the middle, right? But I'm going to bring us up to your role as a education activist and young leader at the UN, right? When did that
Yeah.
come about, and how did that come about?
So being on the internet, crazy things can happen, right? Like your video can end up God knows where, being watched by God knows who. So as much as I had these incredible subscribers and people that I now look at as like a second family, which is weird to say because I haven't met them all, but it feels like that. I had them watching, engaging, using the content, and actually schools were using it too. So people were playing it in classrooms. Teachers were making it part of their curriculums and teaching other students with my videos. And when that began to happen, it began to enter rooms that I wouldn't have even imagined, rooms where things like education policy were being discussed, rooms like the UN, and they caught wind of it. So I suppose the YouTube channel gave me this base and foundation that catapulted me onto global stages in just I would be sitting in rooms with people like the Global Partnership for Education, sharing my views and sharing what I'm hearing from my audience and using that as data to share what needs to be changed and improved in the school setting based on what they were saying. So I began to become this middle person that had the youth voice in my back pocket, and then I had influence in rooms that, like I sat in rooms in the German foreign policy offices, like it just took a life of its own. So yeah, slowly after being on the internet, I was appointed as a young leader for the United Nations, and I've been in that role for the past 2 years, and it's been phenomenal. And I get to be in New York, in Ghana, around the world. I'm just representing young people, all because I have this like online platform. Yeah, like I believe that if you have like a passion for something or an idea for something, unless there is like a really, really, really good reason someone gives you as to like why you can't do that thing, no one has a right to dictate like what you can and can't access. And just because certain things haven't been done before doesn't mean it can't be done, Like people would say, like, what is a YouTuber doing at the UN telling the president or the Secretary General like what to do or like how to go navigate something? And until you see it happening, you're like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. V is an expert in education. She's gone and like read and studied and immersed herself in this world. And when she's representing young people, she's doing it with care and like a real duty, a real sense of like ownership and doing this for them. So I think for a lot of people at home, they'll think, what right do I have to assert myself in anything other than this camera and this YouTube channel? But you are becoming an expert in your field. Like you're in a very niche subject. Whatever you're vlogging about, talking about, you're doing that 24/7, day in, day out. You're probably upskilling yourself outside of that room. People are turning to you. You have an audience who trusts you, who are there because they want to hear your take on this specific thing in this specific way. So when I say just do it, it's not just coming from an empty place. It's like, no, like you really are already doing this. I think you just need to recognize and catch up to the fact that there are people at home who could surf the net and choose to be anywhere and in any space and use their digital currency in any way, and they're choosing to spend it with you. And like you are the trusted voice in that. So when you walk into those rooms that are outside of your YouTube channel, you need to walk in there with a sense of, it's not just me, it's me and 100,000 other people. It's me and a million other views that people are trusting, and they're coming back. They're not just watching one video that's gone viral and that's the end of it. They're coming back time and time again. They're even finding you on other platforms, other networks, because they really trust what you are saying. So start to find ways of diversifying that and making yourself the key voice in that space because like why not? You're the one who's putting yourself out there. So I think try and just see what happens. And if you hate it, like if you are in the education space like I am and you've been teaching on YouTube, and then one day you decide to go to a school or a classroom and just speak your truth there and say what you've been saying on YouTube and it goes horribly wrong, then fine, you can say you tried. I don't think that's enough trying, but if you want, you can say fine. But if you've never tried and you've never gone out there and done it, just do it. Like honestly, you'll be surprised the wealth of opportunities that will land on your doorstep when you begin to take it outside of YouTube and put it to the world, you know?
The edition, they partnered with YouTube Black, right? Speak to the importance of partnerships like that and just creating networking spaces where young Black YouTubers, people who want to start to be content producers, can get together and network and share ideas and be inspired. Speak to that.
I think that representation matters in all aspects of life, whether it's in health, whether it's in beauty, fashion, education, any space. I think that representation really, really matters and it's key. So for YouTube to recognize that their Black creators deserve to have a platform and a light shone on them is really, really important and powerful. And why I said yes to doing this with them, because I think sometimes it's important to give space and room. Like people say, oh, the playing field is level. No, it's not. Okay. If you understand the world of tech and algorithms and things like that, a Black content creator and a white content creator don't have the same chance on the internet just because of how this space is built. So I think it's important for organizations or companies like YouTube to recognize that and to try and level that playing field a little bit. And I think this is a beautiful way of doing that. It's authentic. It gives power back to the creators, the Black creators. It allows us to give each other our flowers. I think that's why I loved this collaboration so much, because it was me getting to spotlight and champion other creators who've paved a path for me to even be online. People like Courtney Daniela. She was one of the first that was vlogging about being a Black student at Cambridge. That literally paved the path for me talking about being a Black student at Oxford. So for me to then get to give flowers to her and it just keeps going, it's a domino effect. I think it's beautiful. So I think partnerships like that are powerful, not only for the people in the room, but for the people at home watching, because then they realize, oh, we're taken seriously. Like my voice matters in this space. It's adding something, and you're quite literally changing someone else's life. Watching Courtney's videos empowered me to be online, and now I get to empower hundreds of thousands of young people, represent them at the UN, do incredible things, and it's all a domino effect from moments like getting to see Courtney's face plastered all over YouTube. So yeah, I think they're powerful, important, necessary, and I can't wait for YouTube to continue doing this and continue supporting in the way that they do.
What's your heritage?
Zimbabwe, born and raised.
So do you get to go back?
I was just there exactly 48 hours ago,
Oh
actually.
wow, okay.
So,
Well, holiday, business pleasure?
no, always work. Like I'm always traveling for work these days, but I was there doing like a charity project. I'd fundraised some money to get girls into school. So I went there with my sister and we were on a school tour around the country, meeting
Nice.
girls, giving care packages, that kind of thing. And it's important for us because that's where we're from. That's
Of
where I was
course.
born. And these girls are me, I am them. There's no difference. It's just that I happened to have migrated to the UK and had a wealth of opportunities put in front of me that I've been able to use. But they are incredibly bright, talented, and they just are existing in an economy that's not so favorable right now. So I do whatever I can and just shine a light and always champion education and their voices. So I was there for the past 8 days and it was the most beautiful experience. I go back as often as I can. Like right now, it's about every year or every 2 years, but I hope to up that as I finish school, and I get more money because then I can give away more money. So that's really my goal in life.
Your network is your net worth, young lady. So talk to me. Where are we heading?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that to the girls in Zimbabwe. I was saying like you are an average of those 5 people around you, right? And I was just telling them if you're in school right now, even if you're on a scholarship or anything like that, don't take it for granted because there are other young people around the world who are dying just to be in a classroom. So like quite literally losing their lives. So please take it serious. And even when you're in that classroom, ask yourself, what am I doing in this room that's helping me progress for the future? And if I was able to create your future child right now and like put them in front of you, and I said, your bestest friends in class is going to be a mixture of all of them in one, and that's your child. And they were all like, no, absolutely not. No. And I said, so you're telling me like you have the autonomy to choose who you surround yourself with, who you get to call your net worth, and they're people that you wouldn't want your pretend future child to be like. I was like, not good enough. Let's get it together, you know, that kind of stuff. So I do agree with you. Your network is your net worth. And for me, I'm around the most incredible young women who I'm so proud to call my best friends. And the future goal for me, honestly, is to carry on doing the work I'm doing right now, empowering, championing, advocating for education. I hope that I can become, I don't know, the head of global education or something and just get everybody on the same agenda, help them figure out how to spend their financing, because right now I don't think it's been distributed very fairly, and just get the girl child the support they need to further their dreams, their wishes, everything like that. So if that's UNICEF, if that's the UN, if that's whatever it is, am I going to be the CEO of the Global Partnership for Education? I don't know, but that's the kind of path I'd hope to go down, where when I speak, people in the education field will listen and I can make change happen. Generational change, not just this looks cute, let's take a picture, put it on the wall. I'm talking, I want the girls who I'm serving right now, I want their great-grandchildren to feel the impact of the work that I'm going to do. So that's the aim, but we'll see what happens. You never know where the wind blows.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, V. I look forward to our next time we sit down in the UK. Maybe we can get you on camera again and speak about some of the work that you've been doing, some of the work that's coming 2025. Have you got any personal resolutions that you want to share with us? You might not want to share them. You might have them, you might want to share.
It's so funny because this is the number one thing I get asked about, because everyone is like, you talk so much about the work you do and the work you're passionate about. Like, we want to also know, like, you personally, and what do you enjoy and what do you do for fun? I'm like, exactly what you're imagining is exactly like I read for fun, because that to me is better than Netflix. I am exactly what you think. But my top goal that I think is rogue, no one's going to be expecting it, I would say, is like to let myself fall in love. I think I'm too like ice about it. Like I'm so icy, and boys are like, oh my gosh, she's so intimidating and she's so like cold and like we can't approach her and blah blah blah. But actually, I'm quite fun and I enjoy picnics, you know, like it's not that serious. So I hope I allow myself to fall in love and let myself not have to always be so independent. Like sometimes it's okay to have partnership. So we'll see how that goes.
Fellas, he's single. You heard it here, and I heard it on the night as well. So I'm glad that you're following it up and you're unapologetic about it. That's how it's
Yeah,
gonna come, you know. That's how it's gonna come. So
I have to, because they all think like I'm not open to the idea, that I don't, like everyone assumes that because like she's a doctor at 26 and she's doing this at the UN, like don't even approach, you know? And I'm like, don't be scared. Like I'm fun and cute and sweet.
don't worry, the message will reverberate through the universe, and you'll be inundated with options soon. I hope you got a bat to fend your way through. So
Yeah.
good luck with all of that.
Only kind people though. If you're not kind, don't bother. You heard it here first, guys.
V, thank you. Really appreciate you, and God bless. Have a good day, and we'll catch up soon. All right.
Thank you so much. Bye.